this feeling, baby, we're invincible.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode and a brand new season of Rebuilding Notts County. As always, if you are enjoying the save, drop a like on the video. That really does help out. We're into season 10, we're into double figures, and I don't know where I really expected to be at this part during the save. Honestly, given the rise we'd had at one point, I actually possibly would have expected to be further along, but I'm kind of enjoying the slower rise. We're having to build. We've had some adversity towards the end of last season. I mean, honestly, it could have got to the point where we could have won the Europa League potentially, because I feel like we would have won had we got to the final, because Man United they beat Valencia in the final, and I think we could have beaten Valencia in a one-off match, and literally things could have gone so different. We could have won the Europa League and probably qualified for the Champions League if things had gone right for us as well, but we find ourselves not qualifying for the Europa League and not even playing in Europe next year, because Leeds, who got relegated from the Premier League, are going to be in the Europa League this season, so we'll see how well that goes for them. But they're going to be doing it without a centre-back. Not a huge surprise there. More on that in a minute. The board have also decided, in their infinite wisdom, I thought we'd start on this page so you can see the fixtures, but also it doesn't spoil anything. The board have decided in their infinite wisdom to add that we must play possession football. Why? I understand that when we did a few things, the board went, right, this is the kind of football you're playing, so we'll kind of expect you to keep doing that. It sucked that they continued to persist with that once we got promoted to the Premier League, but sure. But it's the fact that they've now gone, you're having a lot of success with this style of play, why don't we come in and change it? So that's really annoying. They would not let me remove it either, so at the end of the day, I'm just going to have to bung them off on that one, because I'm not going to be able to get us to play possession football particularly. Although I have made a change to the tactic that might aid us ever so slightly, and that is that we're going with an advanced playmaker in our attacking midfield role to give us a little bit more control of the ball and a little bit more, controlled aggression in that forward area, because again, it worked better for us last season, but I still don't think we were getting the most out of that attacking midfield role, and I want to find something that will, basically, and that's my idea for this year. But the board are also spending £2 million now on upping the data facilities, which shows you how far we've come on that. In case you were wondering, Forest, I mean, this is the only time I'm going to celebrate anything Forest do in this save. They won the playoff final. They beat... It was a derby match involving Forest and Derby, so that Nottingham Forest could come to the Premier League and play in a derby against Notts County. Perfect. But yes, they won 2-0 in the playoff final. Some guy called Lopez, probably a regen, scored a pair of goals for Forest, so they are in the Premier League with us this year. I can't remember who else, but also, for the local area, I think this is kind of cool, Mansfield beat Forest Green and are now in the Championship. So 3 sort of very closely related sides are all now in the top 2 divisions of English football. It's like we're building a community. In addition to that, I decided that I was going to really go ham on getting new contracts for key players, and I felt that was one of the most important factors, because I didn't really feel, for those of you that watched the analysis video, that we had a huge number of areas that I really felt like this needs addressing, other than a couple, which we have addressed for the most part. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to spend some of this transfer fund on just getting some of our key players tied down to long contracts. So Celso, new deal. Silla, new deal. Perrier, new deal. Dubois, new deal. All these guys have been given new contracts. Some of them are actually pretty not bad. Most of them I think are on more money. Perrier didn't want as much as I thought he would, so he's actually only gone on to like 45k because he's not got a France cap. It will go to like 60 if he does, but still not bad. And I think I was also able to remove a release clause from like 2 of their contracts too. So very, very good in terms of just keeping the health of the actual squad together, because a lot of this team is going to be very similar to last season. I've really focused on a key couple of little gains in certain areas, and then trying to find some real talent for the future. These scouting of the youth intakes has really come up trumps for us this time. So most of the young players I've signed have come directly from that. They've not got any under 19 caps for their countries. I found them directly by scouting youth intakes this time. And yeah, we've got a Polish lad. Rightio, let's get into the outs. It's all about transfers now. It's going to be a bit of a shorter one because there isn't as many transfers, but there's still some big stuff to talk about. Probably the biggest out for us is Sonja Hansen. £4.7 million was the deal in the end for him to go to Brighton. Now, this one annoyed me because originally we had a deal agreed with Leicester. It was actually for less money, but we've had to pay a bit of his wages to get him to go to Brighton. He turned down the bloody contract with them. I was livid. It's like this guy is genuinely just here to haunt me. But as it is, we did eventually manage to ship him off to Brighton, who are in the Championship. It strikes me as odd that he would choose to go to the Championship rather than the Premier League for Leicester. But maybe they didn't want to give him as much money. I don't know. But the most important thing is we got some money for him, and more importantly, got him out of the club, because he was just bad in every single way. And coming back to the idea of him being on low wages compared to what he would have been like with us, I have big evidence of this. This is also, ironically, to do with Southampton. There's a guy who had a really cool name. He was a Swiss left back, that played for, I think, Leverkusen or a team in Germany. Either way, I've been scouting him and I thought, okay, this guy looks like a potential option to maybe be as a backup to Alberto. Young, lots of room to grow, nice stuff. I saw, because he was on my shortlist, that Saints had put in a bid of 1 million rising to 1.6 million. I thought, okay, that's not bad. We can go in, try and match that. And generally speaking, if we offer him a bit more money, he'll probably come to us. Now's my time to act. So I put my bid in, and they wanted 7 million. And I was like, okay, fair enough. Usually you can halve that, generally speaking, sometimes down to about 4. But I thought, why are they asking for 4 million from us? So then I structured the deal, and then they came back and said they wanted 8 million, and it was non-negotiable. What? So they were going to sell him to Southampton for 1.6 million, but they wanted 8 million from me. It does seem like the AI have these weird quirks when it comes to transfer negotiations, I have to say. So yeah, that deal fell through faster than anything else. I couldn't believe they wanted like 5 times the money because reasons. I understand it's because I wanted to structure the deal a little bit, but they still wanted 5 million up front from me when they were prepared to take 1 from Southampton. So the first actual signing is, well, huge surprise, it's Nikolai Jespersen. He did join us in the end. £24 million was the deal, obviously because that was his release clause. He's on £115,000 a week, which is a bit more than he was on at Brighton. Not Brighton, Leeds. But I just felt like the opportunity to bring in another centre-back to go with Perrier and Celso that's of real quality was just too good to turn down for 24 million. I couldn't really say no, because to get a player of equal quality, you would not pay anywhere near that amount. You'd be paying more like 40. I mean, we paid 40 for Gael Perrier and 60 odd for Celso, and I think this guy is excellent for 24 mil. So I'm happy to bring him in. We knew we were going to bring him in anyway, but it's good to have all 3 of these guys at the club now so we can really rotate these lads around. And I mean, it's nice to finally get a player that we've actually been chasing for what feels like 2 years now, watching this guy do good things in the league, and now he's finally here. It's nice. I'm pleased for him. I'm pleased he's here. Now, honestly, we've only signed 3 players that have actually joined us in this summer. Most of the other ones have been ones for the future, but there's a couple that will join us in January, which is going to be a big month for us, just in signings joining us. The next player that's joined us is Lachazar Hubanov, a Bulgarian central midfielder. You might look at that and go, Matt, didn't you in the analysis video say you didn't want any more central midfielders? You're correct, I did. But this one was free. He came on a free transfer. I've been scouting him for a few seasons, watching him at Empoli when he first came through, because again, he was getting in the Bulgarian under 21s, I'm guessing. And I thought, okay, but Empoli, probably because they're an Italian team, the money would have been quite a lot. But I guess he must have essentially been like, no, I want to go. And they released him at the end of the season, and I went, swooped in there and picked up the 21-year-old for free. He's only on £24,000 a week. He's worth £22 million, and we've got him on a 3-year deal. So I couldn't really say no. And the last player that's actually joined us whoa, that is a massive, that's changed dramatically. Holy shit. He was valued at, that was 5-star potential. Right, okay, well, we've been mugged off there. But regardless, I needed a backup goalkeeper because Gajic left. And obviously with Suarez, you can never really be sure. So we brought in this guy, Jan Kubek, for £1.7 million from Dukla Prague, which is fine. Although I must say my scout massively overvalued his potential, but then that seems to be a thing that's happened quite a lot this time around. So here is our potential new left-sided player. This is Dorguan Keskin. He's going to be joining us from Antalyaspor in Turkey. 17 years old. He won't join us till January, but this is the guy that I was pretty happy to plough some money into. I actually forget how much it was for. £2.5 million for Keskin in the end, and I think this is a good deal for us. He's young, strong, left-footed. His tackling and marking aren't amazing, but he's solid-ish. He's decent-ish in the air, and I think there's a long way for this lad to improve. For £2.5 million, I couldn't really say no to bringing in this guy to replace Alberto, because I feel like it's going to get to the point soon where the defensive attributes of our winger backs aren't going to be quite as important because we'll be dominating teams a bit more. So to get on the ground floor of that with this guy, I think was a good idea. And the final player that will join us in January is Thomas Piszczek at £2.7 million, central midfielder coming in from Legia Warszawa. At the end of the day, for 2.7 million, this guy was wanted by Man City and Liverpool. And that to me was a good sign that perhaps we should go after this guy. And to snap him up for 2.7 million, just bolstering the real youth of this team with some quality is the idea there. He will join us in the 17th of January, which I assume is his birthday when he turns 18. So all of those guys will join us in January too. And then next summer, we've got this guy, Andreas Damgaard, who is another central midfielder. But again, I saw that he was wanted by some big sides, able to swoop in, and I believe he's cost us 2.5 million, this time from FC Nordsjælland. So lots of Danes going to be joining us as well. There's actually another one as well, I believe. And I do realise that we've basically barely signed any English players in this save, and that's because they're simply too expensive. Despite the fact that there's no market for them to be expensive due to the rules, they're still being inflated in price for some reason because of the English league's reputation, and it causes kind of problems. And also, if we were to try to concentrate on that, we'd be putting ourselves at a massive disadvantage to every other side in the country who are not doing that either. And again, I don't know if I showed you this guy before. He's coming in from Midtjylland. This is Rune Turgerson, who will be joining us the following January for, I believe, 4.1 million this time. So again, a solid guy. He's 16 years old, and I think this guy really does have mad quality. And I think he'll probably be playing for Midtjylland not long before he's actually, yeah, here. So again, another attacking midfielder. There's a lot of quality coming in those positions. That's all for the future, though. And I think the future looks very bright with some of this talent we've got coming through. And we kind of need to remember that sometimes. There's a lot of good players that are going to be joining us soon. So that's pleasing, unless he gets here and my scout's like, no, 2 stars. Now, we're, of course, playing on the Monday away at Vicarage Road. Not ideal. Forest were hammered 4-0, I think, by Liverpool on the opening day. So that bodes well for them, I suppose. We're going to be missing both Santana and Jespersen, which is not ideal. So we should be able to finally have players back from... Are they still... Hang on. Where's Alberto? Oh, bloody hell. So basically, a lot of our players have been at the Olympics. And as a result, they got back yesterday. And unfortunately, Alberto was one of them. But yet Guerra, despite playing for the same team, is also fine. So I don't know what that's about. We're going to go with Dubois and Assman in the midfield. John Carlos now as an advanced playmaker to see how that works out. Celso and Perrier there, of course. Fernandez, I guess, will have to play at left back, which is unfortunate. And a few players aren't quite fully back to fitness yet. Nielsen's out there. Rodea, I'll probably have him over Lancaster for now. So the bench will be Senya, Dobali, Silla and Peppo. Griffiths, of course, Rodea, and Costel Chopin, who is back, of course, from his loan spell at Cardiff, where he scored some goals last year. I'm hoping to give him more game time in the Cups this season. Key thing I noticed in pre-season was that I was looking at the match stats for a lot of our friendlies, and I know they were against weak sides, but I noticed John Carlos, when he did play, or whoever often played there, Senya quite a bit, were getting a lot more key passes, and that suggests to me that we were creating more as a result of them, and they were scoring goals too and getting assists. So interesting to note. I think this might be the first time in a long time, in fact, probably the first time in this save, that we've come into the new season with virtually no wholesale changes. And I'm okay with that for now, because I was really happy with a lot of the way that we played last year. And remember, these are young players, so they're going to improve. But in addition to that, our transfer budget wasn't the biggest. It was 37 million in the end. And I had to dump a load of that onto wages just to sign anyone, including Jespersen, and give a lot of players new contracts. So I think we're still in a sort of hangover from all the 3-year installments we had on signings from before. So this has kind of had to be a summer of sort of austerity for us. But there was a suspicion that his inability, or the way it fell off, was due to a Well, that didn't take long. 14 minutes, and we are a goal down to Watford. It's like we just picked up where we left off. These early goals, man. But also, it's that weird part of the box where it just seems much easier to score from. It's a great strike from Morgan Gibbs-White, but come on, lads. You can see what I mean about having more possession, though. And I feel like the advanced playmaker role definitely aids us with that. Fernandez. He's probably going to shoot, isn't he? Yep. Easy for Gasparini. Playing reasonably well. Suarez with a lovely ball for Thomas Stepanek. We need a big year out of him this season. He's got to be better than last year. He's going to keep driving forward here. All the way through. Thomas Stepanek and Gasparini makes a big save. Okay, this is more like it from us. We're away from home and we are a goal down, but we're actually playing well. And that's the main thing for me. Spread that play, boy. Stepanek knocks it back for Assman for some reason. He's going to shoot. Nope, Jean Carlos. Fernandez, he's going to get another shot away, isn't he? And saved by Gasparini. Fernandez is getting into a lot of very advanced positions on that left-hand side, which is interesting. I feel like Alberto would do a better job, though. Guerra, headed away. It's going to come back to him. And here we go again. Guerra's got it. He's got to take his man on. His dribbling ability has really suffered because of that PPM. Can he pull it back across for someone? He does. And Lever! Oh, he's at the post. And did they hit the post twice? I mean, ironically, I'm actually very happy with the way we played, but I'm pretty certain we just hit the post twice in the same move. Oh, we should be level, really. But good signs for a lot of this match so far. I'm also really liking our control of the match is much, much higher, which will really help us in games where we get a slender lead. Being able to hold that possession way easier. Very important. Dubois. Can he find him again? He does. Stepanek's going to go around a few players and strikes it, and Gasparini makes another good save. We're completely in control of the game, but not in the scoreline. Oh, that's poor. That's really poor. Since when do we get so bad at switching the play like that? Kaka. Guerra delivers one. And it's... Oh, hit the crossbar again. Watford have had a load of shots out of nowhere. Silla? Rodea? Silla! Rodea, how have we not... Oh, God. I just don't know what to do. I think we actually played pretty well. Created good chances, dominated the possession, but then they just score that goal, create nothing and win. Yeah, I don't know. That was just one of those things, I guess. It's just we've picked up directly where we left off last season, it would seem. Losing 1-0 away from home. They did have more shots, I'll give you that, but I saw none of them. None of them were dangerous, other than the one they scored with. So, yeah, I don't really know what to say. It's just another case of that, really. By the way, Evan Ndika, great name. There are positive signs. We controlled the possession, which is a good sign for us, and... in addition to that, Jean Carlos didn't play any worse than anyone else around him, which is a good sign because often that position was one of the first to drop off. I think having correct players on that left-hand side back again, Alberto and Santana, will make a huge difference to us, though. But we did okay without them. It's just, I mean, I don't know. If you don't take your chances, you don't win games, basically. But I can't make them put the ball in the net. Well, there we go. Insanely disappointing opening day of the season. No other words for it, really. And we'll probably go out and win 4-0 against Saints in the next match because it's a home game. We really need to work on something away from home. But what I would say is we played well. I don't know what it is about away games with us. We just seem to be unable to rise to the occasion. Anyway, enough on that. We've got to move on. We've got some winnable games coming up. Southampton at home, Norwich away, Everton at home. I ideally want to win all 3 of those, in all honesty, because we kind of need, well, don't need to, but we want to. 7 points I would settle for, but we really have to get on this now, because then Spurs and Manchester City in those games are going to be crazy, crazy difficult. EFL Cup game in there as well, but at least we don't have to worry about Europe, I suppose. So we can focus on keeping people fresh for these matches, and hopefully with a full strength lineup back, we will be able to do something a little bit special. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this episode in spite of that, drop a like on the video, nicknames for the new players, that'd be nice as well. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, and as always, hold your gun, capybara. Thank you so much for watching, bye-bye.